Hello, my name is Myra Gonzalez. Um, Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in the city of Moreno Valley. I went to Moreno Valley High School and graduated in 2001. Shortly after that, I attended Riverside Community College, and then I went into um, to the workforce. So I was doing both community college and working. However, life happened and I didn't complete my education. However, I am now at CBU at California Baptist University, and I will be graduating this summer. I am the first of my siblings to have graduated from college. Uh, so I work in the public sector. I have worked for the public sector for about 14 years now. Um, and it has been an honor to work for the city of Moreno Valley because this is where I grew up. And so it's so fulfilling to be able to serve the community where I worked. I'm sorry, where I lived and grew up. Um, Within the city, I have worked in various different departments and divisions. I am very well rounded in the organization as far as um, with the different experience and background that I have. I first started with the facility maintenance division, and I worked there as a senior office assistant, where I was introduced to a lot of the city's overall, I guess it was more based on the infrastructure. So I was able to receive a lot of infrastructure and budget um, for facilities and maintaining and operating the city facilities. However, they were off-site and at an annex building. Therefore, my knowledge in how the public sector and how the organization worked as a whole, I was very limited with my knowledge in that because I wasn't exposed to a lot of different things. And I knew that. So therefore, that's when I began looking for different opportunities to grow within the organization. After my 6 years over in facility maintenance, I moved on to the code enforcement division, where where I worked as an administrative assistant, and I handled mainly the demand letter and lien release process uh, for the code enforcement division. So if an individual did not um, meet the ordinances, a lien is placed on the property, and when the property is going to be sold or refinanced, then they come to me and see me so that they can figure out how much they need to pay in order to have the lien released from their property, and that's basically what I handled for them. I also assisted our residents in their efforts to become compliant once they received a notice or a citation. And we went ahead and we provided them with information on how to resolve their citation, and I provided them with resources as far as how they would be able to do those things and being compliant with the city's ordinances. I moved on from there onto the fire department where I was a senior administrative assistant and I worked for the fire prevention division. The division handled primarily the enforcement and implementation of fire codes for the protection of the public and also for the firefighters' protection. So they're the division that handles um, fire codes such as having sprinklers in the system. I mean, fire sprinkler systems in a business or now homes. So we I worked in that division for some time. Once I was through with that, a part of my career, I went into the finance department where I worked as the executive assistant to the chief financial officer. Um, my responsibilities included um, I was to perform and coordinate and oversee the office administration or administrative duties while also providing support to the CFO and his management team. Um, I was also tasked with special projects and research projects during my time with the CFO. I then moved on to my current position. I am a management aide for the Financial Resources Division. Um, my duties involve performing administrative, financial, and statistical work, but I also manage and coordinate functions and programs. So I oversee different programs and I um, provide outreach so that we can market those different types of programs. In this position, I also serve our residents. I am the liaison between the resident and the post office and assisting them in um, uh, being their voice so that their mailboxes, when they become vandalized or broken into, that that the post office um, would then replace their units at no cost. So I work as the liaison between the post office and the resident. I also work on homeless initiatives for the city, and I am part of a homeless task force. Um, so I also work on those initiatives. And I coordinate and I lead the city's nonprofit roundtable meetings. Those are just meetings with our nonprofits and seeing how we can come together as different organizations to provide our residents with resources and a higher level of quality of life within our city. Um, I would say that the my high initiative is taking on tasks where the opportunity is needed. I currently, with the situation that we have with COVID-19 and the fast pace of information that is being um, delivered to our residents, the they did not have a Spanish translator. So I am not part of the bilingual pay employees, but I did see a need to assist, and therefore I went ahead and became the lead in translations for to the disbursement of the COVID-19 messages that were being sent to our community. And I did it out of the need, and I was not worried about the pay. So that's something that I have always been accustomed to. Every time that something is needed, I am the team player and I assist wherever I can without any expectations. I just want to help and accomplish the city's goals and serving our community. And that is my passion. Um, as far as collaboration, um, in my current role, it is important for me to collaborate with various other divisions, departments, and even outside organizations. As I indicated, I also lead the nonprofit roundtable meetings. So um, I work very well with other people, and I um, let me think about this. Um, I think one of the biggest things too in my collaborative efforts is I was an essential part of working with the post office to provide our residents with replacement mailboxes. Um, there was a need in the city where a lot of our residents were um, having issues with being vandalized with their mailboxes being vandalized, mail theft, and we collaborated with the post office, and as I indicated before, we were successful in helping our residents in um, having someone to come to so that we would take on the challenge of uh, working on their behalf with the post office to have their mailboxes replaced. As far as using resources, um, being that I've worked in various departments and divisions within the organization, I have a lot of networking and relationships that I've built throughout my career with various different individuals. And one example is in my current division, we oversee the housing authority um, city parcels that are owned through the housing authority. And at the time when I first came on with the division, they didn't have anybody to work with as far as having their city parcels abated. So therefore, I reached out to my fire department and our team in the prevention division, and was able to get the information from them as far as what vendor they used, and we went ahead and implemented a contract with them, and everything was very smooth because of the fast-paced transition. So I was able to reach out to my different resources for assistance. As far as conflict, I am not a confrontational person. I like to work well with others. However, if there was an issue that came up with either a customer or a client or even a coworker, I would activate my active listening skills and really hear the person out, because I think sometimes we forget to really listen to their needs. And if this was something that was outside of my control or outside of my power, then I would defer their issue on to either the appropriate person or my supervisor. My greatest strengths are my interpersonal skills. Because of that, I am often tasked with working with difficult employees, and as I indicated about listening, I think that sometimes we forget that those individuals that are difficult for a reason. Perhaps they haven't been heard, and so they feel like their ideas don't matter, and so they become um, negative individuals or hard to work with because they feel that they're not adding value. And so I tend to always try to bring out the best in people by helping and just being so positive and trying to work with them and listen to their ideas and use their ideas. And even if sometimes they're not something that can be of use, I think it's important for us to remember that we need to take on some portion and of their ideas and implement them and see if they work. Um, I am also a dedicated individual, and I have a passion for helping others accomplish their goals. Um, I know that this is something that is very important to me. We had a client that that was rejected. So we were holding or promoting a small business initiative program, and this small business applied for the funding to receive the incentives for this small business program, and they were rejected based on the fact that they did not meet the qualifications. However, I looked further into the details of the terms and conditions and found that they were eligible. So I went back and took it to my manager and asked him to reconsider given what my findings. And in the end, the small business did receive the incentive that otherwise, if I wouldn't have taken the initiative and would have been dedicated to helping, then they would have never been able to benefit from that incentive. Uh, Lastly, I work well under pressure. Um, I was once asked to work on a project that fell through the cracks, and the deadline for this project was within the next 2 hours. And using different resources and delegated some of the workload to different individuals within our division, we were able to meet the deadline that was asked of us. And thank you for your time. And my hope is that my qualifications and experience can be of value to the organization. Thank you so much. Have a great day.